drop the question in the chat, and I'm going to go ahead and share the screen now. Hopefully you guys are able to see it. Give me 1 sec here. Are you guys able to see my screen now?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so this is I just logged into Touchpix with my credentials, and I'm going to go over and just do a quick I'm going to do a quick event by going to create an event, right? So in create the event, I'm going to name it. I'm just going to go real quick, and this is how fast maybe a lot of you can create events now. And today's date. And I'm just going to focus on, let's focus on boomerangs, not boomerangs. Let's just focus on slow-mo pictures. I'm not really worried about AI today. So I'm going to do a quick event. This is technically how I do most of my events. I just leave the sharing option on. Well, let's do QR. Let's not do these other. I'm going to leave that as default. As far as Zap logo, I'm going to leave them at default as well. Very important that when you finish creating your event, you enable the external screen. So just by a show, I guess, of interest, what do you guys want to see today? Do you guys want to see the live view recording that's only able to be replicated by the iPhone recording device or a DSLR? Or would you guys rather see how to set up a slideshow that's going to play continuous throughout the night? And go ahead and put in your responses in the chat. And I guess the most popular method is the one we're going to roll with today. I'll give you guys a couple more minutes. Right now I see slideshow. I think slideshow is kind of one of the most commonly used methods.
Yeah, I guess definitely the slideshow will be the
Yeah,
winner.
I think I'm gonna go ahead and do slideshow as well. I was just kind of
Yeah, we have 6 versus 1 for live view. So
Perhaps I've only done slideshow, but is it, in y'all's experience, is it common to do live view?
well, I like to do slideshow in the sense that I mean, everybody's going to use it a little different. I'll explain why I like to use slideshow when I do some of these events myself. The reason being that live view, it only works with an iPhone, and I seldom use an iPhone to do my recording. I typically use a GoPro, and live view doesn't work with GoPro, or I typically use a DSLR. Live view does work with DSLR, but I also feel, in my experience, it takes away from the experience, because if you're doing a live view recording, you have the majority of your guests looking at the screen while being recorded. And I think it's distracting, and the videos often produced where the guest is looking somewhere else other than the camera. So to me, that becomes a distraction if they're looking at themselves via the TV that's nearby. And that's the reason why I don't use it. I know there's other people that kind of hide the TV and project it to the general public, but in my experience, I just use a random slideshow more often than not. And I think it's pretty popular. It's just, again, it comes down to preference and how you're going to use it. So in this case, what I'm going to do is go ahead and select external session, but I'm going to go ahead and go with the drop down menu, and I'm going to go ahead and select slideshow. I'm not going to use the QR carousel, but I'll explain what that is. The QR carousel does require a good internet connection, and a lot of users, when they go utilize the TV, sometimes probably don't have the best internet connection, or don't have their own Wi-Fi. So I'm going to show you how to do it without. It works great with, but if you do have a solid internet connection, you may want to use the QR carousel. What that does is it's going to display a QR code for the last 4 videos, the most recent 4 videos that you've recorded. It'll display it on your screen. And when there's internet connection, obviously your guest can download those videos instantly. When there's no internet connection, that's when the guest, struggles to obtain that video. That's the only difference. I'm going to disable it for now, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit consent, submit, and didn't select my country, so I'm going to go ahead and hit the USA, then go all the way back down and hit submit. What I'm going to do here now is I'm going to go into the designer just to give it a quick design. I'm going to focus on the way I have my TV set up right now is via landscape. Uh, if you have it, if you have it set up via vertical, I can show you how that's going to look. But my TV, for the purposes of this webinar, has set up landscape. So I'm gonna choose a vertical type not a vertical, a landscape type template. So let's go with people like the full screen. So I'm going to go ahead and do a full screen type setup. And again, you can use default stickers if you want to brand it. You guys have been through this before. I don't have any of the new logos. I should update that quick. But let's go with just a Touchpix logo. Maybe I just want to put it there. And then I'm going to add it to this event. And sure, I'll add it to the video portion.
I have a question on the
Sure.
screen where you just came from to submit with the video slow-mo and all of that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So on my selfie booth, the iPad booth, do I leave all of that checked or do I just put picture, I think it is?
It's going to determine on what you're activating. So if you're activating everything, then you can leave it on. But if you're only activating pictures in slow motion, I mean, it doesn't hurt if you leave everything on. But just know that for the purposes of this, right now I set it to this template, but it's only on my video type experiences, which is
Okay,
slow
so
motion.
this is for 360.
Yeah, for sure. And then right now, what I'm going to do, if I'm doing a multi experience, so if I want to do a photo experience, I have to go back up here to templates. I'm going to choose something very similar to that. Actually, I'm going to drop it down and I'm going to say photo, right? And I'm going to look for something similar to that experience or to that layout that I can use, something in landscape. And you're going to have to set something up similar to that because now we're dealing with an overlay for a photo. It's a different size, different dimension. So you can go back into stickers and I can apply the same Touchpix logo now, right? The number one represents the picture. And then I'm going to go ahead and add it to the right event. Make sure you're adding it to the correct event. Hit event, and now it's telling me if I want to activate it for my photo and GIFs. Like I said, make sure you select it for the right one. And in this case, you just seen me add that template to the video functions and the photo functions. So that's what I'll have. And to verify that you did it correctly, you can always return to Touchpix, go back to your Touchpix page, right? And this is the new event here up top. If you click on overlays here on your dashboard of my events, you're going to see it was applied to everything, right? Even though that I'm only using photo booth and video functions, it's applied over to the photo. I see it there. I see it under video, so you're pretty good. This is where you can see where those overlays are being loaded. If it doesn't come up here, that means you did something wrong, and you just have to make sure that there's an overlay applied on a specific experience. Okay.
Okay.
After that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my events because I'm screen sharing with you guys now. You guys won't be able to see me scan the QR code. So I'm just going to take a picture of my QR code with another device that I have. So you guys can see the entire process. There it is. Okay. And I'm now going to switch over to a screen share from my phone. That way you guys can see it from the beginning. So now I'm going to go over to my phone and let's do a screen share. so it looks like you guys are able to see my devices now, right? I'm going to
Yes.
open up Touchpix, and I just installed it, so it's asking me what it usually asks when you do a fresh install. It'll give. It's very important that you allow it access to everything that it asks. If you hit no or don't allow, it can definitely compromise your event. You want to make sure and hit activate event. And for this, I'm first going to show it as a, I'm going to do this as a normal event. I'm going to go ahead and hit activate, and then I'll do the sharing station one. So then I'm going to scan the QR, which I took a picture of from my phone, so you guys can see it. Setting up the event. So this is very important too, because it's going to ask you for access to your network. It's gonna ask you for the microphone, your pictures, and this is the important part here. It must download these resources. So we always recommend before you're doing an event. I know people are procrastinators at times and they wait to the last minute to activate their event. But if you can do this, before you leave to your event, it's gonna really save a lot of headaches, because often than not, people try to activate it at the venue, and then they find out that they have poor internet connection, and this process may take a long time. So I'm gonna hit OK. These are the resources it needs to do a valid screen record. I'm sorry, a screen slideshow, and it communicates with the Apple TV uh, in that same fashion. So let's see what we got. Okay, so that's my event, and I'm loaded. So what I'm going to do now is let me screen record and do the same process, but I'm going to do it for my iPad now, because you guys want to see how they both kind of work with one another. And
Hold up, wait a minute. I must have missed a step when you scanned the QR code. And what was that going on with after
I
that?
I activated my my event like normal.
And then you said that they was corresponding with each other, the Apple TV and the iPhone.
Not yet. We're not there yet. We're getting there. So
Okay.
just give me a couple minutes and we'll definitely get there. So now I just wanted to activate my
DJ,
event.
maybe what she's missing is that when you select the TV part, the TV session in the website, once you scan the QR code, it will ask you to download additional files.
Oh
So
yeah.
it will take a little bit more in order to download the files that are needed to show in the TV.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so once I do that download, it's going to ask me to download an individual file. Is
no,
that
it's
what
gonna
you're
ask.
saying?
Correct. It's going to say you need these resources for the external session to work, and you're going to have to hit OK. Remember that you do need you need internet connection that's you don't need it to be super fast for this, but you do need some type of internet connection that's stable, so it can download those resources.
You'd
You're
only
gonna
see that
you're gonna
download,
see you're gonna see it again here with this iPad. So just bear with me here.
but you don't
So
see that download the first time. I mean, your second event, if you didn't uninstall, you
correct.
do
That
that.
is correct, and that's a valid point. So if you already have the app installed and perhaps you've already used a TV session in the past, it only downloads once. The second time you are not going to see it. The only reason it's going to pop up a second or third time is if you've uninstalled the app and reinstalled from the beginning. I did a reinstall so that way you guys can see the entire process. And I'll show you another method here with the iPad here. So let's go over to activate event. So now I have some options here. I can either activate a sharing station, which I'm going to do with this iPad, right? I'm going to activate the sharing station, and it's giving me three options. If I want to do an online sync, an easy connect, or by way of ScanPix, right? We're not going to go into ScanPix today, but we can explain what the easiest methods to do. I'm going to start with online sync, right? It's asking for the QR code. It's asking for access to the camera because it's my first time again. And I have my phone here, so I'm going to go ahead and see if I can. Oh, let me go with the front camera here. Let me see if I can show the QR. Oops, I moved it around. That's not working here. Okay, here we go. I scanned it. It's setting up the event. Again, this is what you're going to look for. For whatever reason, if you have the app already installed, you might have already installed those resources if you've ever used a TV, right? So if this doesn't pop up and you have good internet, then chances are that you already have a solid connection. I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to let it download the resources. It really depends on your internet speed here. And it looks like it's going to be done fairly quick. Okay, so now it downloaded. So now before I make it go into sharing station mode, what I'm going to do is go into the settings, right, of that specific device. I'm going to go ahead and hit settings. And what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to navigate over to the menu that handles the external session. So in this case, it's going to be menu number 9, right? So right now, if I had a vertical TV connected to this, it's going to be my second option that says vertical TV, right? If I wanted the live view recording, typically the TV session would be selected on as well, right? If I had you can control whether you want the replay to be shorter, skip some of the replays. You have a lot of control here on what you want to do. In my case, what I want to choose here that benefits me, if you want the photo carousel action, you can definitely implement that as well, meaning it'll show the photos like a carousel. It'll cycle through. Company logo is typically done via the settings page where you put your own logo under the I believe it's under, I'll go back into the settings and show you exactly where you need to input that if you want your company logo to be on. External session has its built-in animations. You can disable them. Some people love to have them. Some people don't like them, and disable them is something that it's not needed, but it's there for you. The thing that I want you to focus on when you're doing the slideshow is the slideshow time. Typically, each photo shows or each video will show for about, the videos will show a little longer until the videos are done, unless you hit short replay. But in this case, if you're doing photos, if you're doing a photo booth session, I like to turn slideshow always on, right? So I'm going to toggle slideshow always on. And these are generally my settings here. You can actually add a custom background to your TV if that's what you want. In this case, I don't have a Touchpix background. Let's see if I have anything in this specific iPad. I don't have anything in landscape, but if I had my logo here, I would be able to project my logo onto the TV while it stands at it still. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to switch this over to this side. That way you guys can see the TV here that I'm going to be working with. And this is what we're going to do here. So once your settings are set to slideshow always on, because we're using a slideshow feature, and you have a 5-second mark, and you're pretty happy with these results, then I'm going to go ahead and hit go back. And then from this point on, what you can do is start your screen mirroring process. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a test video. That way you guys can see it. I don't have any videos in the gallery right now since I'm showing you live how to set that up, right? So what I'm going to do now is do a test video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to toggle off of camera mode. I'm going to go over to Touchpix. I am going to go over to just to set my camera over to the rear camera. You guys, let's see, let's go to back camera. And everything's set accordingly. I'm going to go back. And now you know, I'm going to turn it in landscape mode because my template is landscape. So in my case, I have two functions, right? I'm going to just take a picture of my TV. It's nothing crazy. I'm going to hit photo on this here, right? And you guys can see my TV in my kitchen. It's going to take one photo. And what I'm going to do too is I'm going to do a video. That way it has, the slideshow will have two different test files. I'm going to do a quick video here. Slow motion and photo. That way you can see the experiences load up. And let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to let it process. I'm going to hit next. Okay. So now I'm going to switch over back to my camera mode because I want you guys to see the steps. And what I'm going to do now that I'm on my camera mode is always start with the sharing station first. And what I want you to do is go ahead and make the connection for sharing station, right? I'm going to go to gallery. I'm going to go ahead and set this to activate receiver up here. Hit activate receiver. It turns into a white R, right? Now I'm going to go over to the Touchpix app. And I'm going to do the same thing on the iPhone. I hit gallery. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit on the S. I'm going to hit activate sender. It sees my iPad. I'm going to select the iPad. It says that it's successfully connected as a sharing station. Hit OK. So now I'm just going to toggle out of here because I'm going to turn my camera back on. And I'm hoping that these will come through, even though I'm using the app in the background mode. So I'm hoping that these come through fairly quick. Another thing that you can do is if you do have good internet and maybe they're not coming through because I'm running Touchpix on the background, there's an option here always to use the online sync. Online sync just means that once you have good internet and the files have uploaded up to the cloud, if I tap on online sync, right, it's going to go ahead and upload the files that are already in the cloud system. So that was the picture, I believe, and I believe the other file with the video was probably going to be a little bigger, so it might take a little longer just to upload. But if I press it again, it should probably be there now. Let's see, let's go online sync one more time. Oops, I think I'm not interested in deleting the image. Go to gallery, online sync. Let's see if it's already up in the cloud and loaded. There it is. Those are my two test shots right there. So now the object is once you have your sharing station established and you can send your files over to the sharing station. Obviously, this iPhone that I'm holding that's capturing the video for the Zoom call. Let's pretend that this item that I'm holding is probably the iPhone that you're going to be using to record off your 360 spinner, right? So you don't want a wired connection from that, although you can do it from an iPhone. The Apple TV way would work fine. We're pretending we have a separate device, your iPad that can mirror. And this is what you do to mirror your iPad. It works the same on every iOS device. If you grab your finger and you start from the top right-hand side of the screen up here like I am, and you slowly swipe, let me see, slowly swipe to the middle of the screen, you open up your control panel. And in this control panel, we're looking for this feature here that is for screen mirror, right? As you can see, that's my Apple TV up there. All it's doing there, it's connected. It's not even connected to the right Wi-Fi. That's the beauty with the Apple TV box, because you don't need a Wi-Fi. It'll work because it's an Apple to Apple device. And once I hit screen mirror, I should see the Apple TV pop up. I believe it's the one that says DJ1 Apple. And if I select it, I'm going to try to select it from a distance. It's the top one. You're going to see my screen change up top. It's asking me for the AirPlay passcode, which you may see that on your devices that from your smart TV. Hit OK. Now that it's connected, you just tap anywhere on the screen here. And in some cases, there is a delay. So let's try this again, where the slideshow should be starting automatically. It's still a black screen for now. So let's see what it's doing.
You need to go to the settings, DJ, because the one that has the slideshow is the recording device.
Yeah. Give me one quick second here. Let's do this again. Let's go over to Touchpix. Okay. So now that I opened the app again, you can see the picture of my TV. This still works as your, you can still run this as your sharing station. And as you can see on this TV screen here, it says that it has 2 files. So meaning that it's going to replay these same 2 files. If you see the top right corner there, it says 2 of 2. It'll cycle through the slideshow sessions that are coming in throughout the night. So as you start having more 360 sessions or having more picture sessions, the slideshow will start cycling through, right? So this is one way of sharing with the Apple TV. If you have, I recommend doing it this way if you have photos that are landscape mode, right? Or videos that are in landscape mode. Obviously, if your template is vertical, there's a lot of vertical templates for 360s, then I would suggest that you flip your TV around. And once you flip your TV around, you just are going to have to make the adjustments on your slideshow, on your settings here for the slideshow. And you can see that that's the 360 video. It's moving slowly, but you can see that that's the video 1 of 2. But if you're doing vertical, you're going to want to go into settings. And you're going to switch this where it says TV session. You're going to switch it to vertical, right? And your image will appear in vertical format. You see how that's vertical? This is for vertical templates. Obviously, it looks weird because I'm using a landscape template. And, you know, but a lot of you use vertical templates. So once you use a vertical template, all you have to do is select the vertical TV mount and mount your TV vertically, of course, and it'll correct to the right orientation. So I would suggest if you're offering 360 slow motion sessions in landscape, make sure that you're offering pictures in landscape, because it's going to look weird if you're offering one in landscape and one in vertical, and you have your TV set a certain, maybe just in landscape. The vertical shots will not look good. I try to keep them consistent, and I think that would be the best experience. So that's the Apple TV method of connecting them, and it'll run all night like this as a normal slideshow. Correct.
DJ, we have some questions from Travis.
Okay.
And there's another. The first question is say, does this work with the 3rd generation Apple TV or only the 4th generation and
No,
newer?
it works with the 3rd generation Apple TV just fine. I would actually recommend, I think the one I have is, no, this is a 4th, but it does work with the 3rd. Obviously, if you can afford a newer one, the newer ones would be recommended. But if you can't afford a newer one, you should be fine with anything else that's available that's somewhat new. I'm gonna go grab a dongle. If there's any other questions, feel free to post them. That way we can answer them.
Yeah, in addition to this, I would say that I have a 3rd generation, and it was working good, but can be a little bit choppy sometimes. Okay, so that's the reason that 4th generation or newer is much better, because maybe the signal will not be, you know, that good and can be choppy in the playback. Okay. So the other question is, Mo Travel is asking to do an Android setup. So you were answering the question of it will work with any TV or smart TV only.
If you're using an Apple TV, or is this Android related?
Android related.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm going to suggest if you're using an Android try to use it with a Google Chromecast of some sort. Most Android TVs, and I'm not talking about Roku. There's TVs that are specifically Android. It'll say Android TV versus Roku. Most Android TVs, you're able to mirror your
Right,
Android phone to your TV. So that
right.
should work fine. In the event that your TV doesn't have that capability, if you're near a Walmart, they sell small Android boxes. They're called the On Box. I can show you what that looks like. Give me
You
one
showed
second.
that to us. You showed that to us during the last
Last,
session.
yeah, I did.
Yeah, you just like briefed it.
It's a
But
little, it's a little On Box. Let me
I
see
have a Samsung and it does mirror to my phone. My
okay.
question now is you showed three pieces. Well, four. The TV, the Apple TV box, the sharing station, and the phone. I only had the phone, the recording device, which is my Android,
Hmm.
and the TV. I don't have a sharing station. Is a sharing station required?
No, no.
Okay, cool.
No, it's
Okay.
not required. You can use it off your phone. I'm just showing it to you this way because a lot of people use it in different ways. You can definitely use it. Like I could mirror my TV with solely my iPhone as well, and it'll work the exact same way. I'm just
Okay.
introducing a sharing station sometimes because I'm just trying to let you know that you can maximize the use of the app by because the next way I'm going to show you, I'm not trying to confuse you. The next way I'm going to show you is the wired method. And I prefer the wired method over all the methods because I feel for me it's more secure. Again, trial and error. I think the wired method is, for me at least, is the least expensive option because you don't have to buy an Apple TV box. You can just buy the dongle and it'll work, right? Except that the wired method that I recommend will require you to use a external different
Wi-Fi.
device, a different device, meaning that you will need your recording device and a sharing station because it's wired. You can't have a wired, uh, you know, iPhone on a 360 because of the wire, right? So,
Hmm.
I mean, but it's a solution. So I'm giving you three separate solutions on how to do it. You can go wired, you can go Android wireless, and you can go wireless with the Apple TV box or the smart Apple TV app.
Okay. And going back to the setup of the events. So I had the event and I had both my selfie booth and 360. You showed here when you set it up, you had the video and the
Both
picture.
correct.
Yeah. So am I able to use both devices on that one event?
What do you mean by both devices?
Both systems. So that
Both
one
so
event,
both
eh,
experiences, you mean, right? The
yes.
pictures
Yes.
and videos. Yes, you are. If that's what you want
Okay.
to offer your clients, for sure, you're able to do that.
They would
So,
have to be the same event though, wouldn't they, on two
right.
devices?
Correct.
So
Correct.
this was one event and I had both experiences. I had the 360 here
Correct.
and the selfie booth here. So you set it up to that event for that day. You had both video and picture.
Pictures.
So
Correct.
I would just scan it from each of the different two devices that I'm using.
Okay. What do you mean by
Am I
two
saying that?
devices? What do you mean by two devices?
When I say two
Separate
devices,
them.
like the iPad for the selfie booth and the Android for the 360.
No. So that's two different. Those are two different. If you were to do it that way, I'd prefer that you create an event for each.
Okay.
The way I'm showing you now is in the event that you're offering 360 and your lighting is so awesome that you want to also offer pictures, right? So
Okay.
my workflow for something like this would be everybody gets ready on the 360. I'll snap a quick picture first. I'll say everybody smile for the camera, snap a quick picture, and then I'm going to start my 360 video session.
Okay.
It's an upcharge. It's a little bit more of it's an add-on experience, and your client is super happy because not only are they going to get videos, but they're also going to get good looking pictures as well.
Okay.
Okay, so the next method, unless there's other questions, is there another question? Okay, the next method I
Nope.
want to show is this little dongle here. And I'm going to recommend if you guys do purchase this dongle, buy it straight from Apple. You can tell this is the older one with the lightning port. This is specifically for the older model that I'm talking about. You must, if you have an older iPad that you're trying to do this on, maybe a sharing station slideshow type of thing, you must buy the Apple branded one. Don't buy the generic Lightning to HDMI cords because they will not work. If you have a newer iPad where it's USB-C, most of the off-brand USB-C with HDMI work fine because USB-C is meant for it's a high-speed connection. So most of them work fine, most of them that I've tested. So this only applies, Apple branded will apply to the HDMI to Lightning. I'm going to put my phone down and I'm going to show you how it connects and we'll go from there. Okay, so I haven't used this iPad in a little while, all right? So it's telling me once I connected it, right, it's hardwired to my TV. That's all it is. Since I haven't used it in quite some time, it's telling me that it detected a accessory and it needs to download a firmware. So I'm going to go ahead and accept that, and I'm just going to wait on that for a bit, just to make sure that I'm able to use it. Right? Apple releases its updates every so often, and this is something new to me that I didn't really know, you had to do. But I haven't used this older iPad in quite some time. So, we're kind of learning on the fly here because that's probably a release. I want to see if it already downloaded. So all I'm going to do is the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and hit screen mirror. And I'm not going to do the Apple TV because it hasn't connected yet. So let's wait a little longer. Because this should technically just work immediately. And let's see here, let's see if it's done downloading its thing. I'm going to put this down. I'm going to disconnect it and reconnect it just to make sure that it's downloaded or it's in the process of downloading. Okay, so now that I unplugged it and plugged it back in, you see the little icon up there?
No,
It means that
you don't have image.
you saw that little icon up there, right? So I'm going to go ahead and it's already there. So what I'm going to do is once I exit off Touchpix one more time and restart it, it should pop up on the TV now. So here we go.
Yeah, because you don't have any video in your.
No, it works. You see, those are the test shots. It automatically connects. Automatically connects under screen mirror, right? Again, I can just so I can show you how it works. I'm gonna disconnect it briefly here real quick. It's no longer connected. A black screen. I'm gonna connect it. Sorry, here I'm working with one hand here, just so I can show you guys. Once it's connected, you'll see that little blue cable saying that there's an accessory, automatically connects, and it automatically connects to that. This is the way that I use it at most of my events with an external session. Why do I do this? It's because there's a lot of, I'm not trying to dissuade people from buying Apple TVs. I just know it's a little bit more expensive. It's an extra thing to carry. This would actually be a very good way to have as a backup in the event that the connection to the Apple TVs are not as stable. And the reason I say that is because sometimes we do events outside. Outside, the signals can get weak because they're bouncing outdoors. Sometimes you may do an event in a big conference center where there's a lot of signals going on, wireless signals going on, and it's very tricky. Like we've experienced this sometimes in convention centers when we're showcasing. too many people, too many signals going on, and the wireless signal is just not the most stable. So we always like to recommend bypass wireless at those specific busy moments and go wired. And there's nothing wrong with going wired, and it's a lot more quicker. It's a cleaner setup sometimes, and you don't have to deal with these laggy disconnects or sometimes the stutters because of a busy room with a lot of signals going on.
So the Apple TV dongle
Correct.
is plugged into the Apple TV device's HDMI.
No, it's not plugged into nothing. So this is, forget about that. That was my previous example.
Oh, it's straight HDMI to the TV.
It's straight HDMI to the TV.
Oh, it was confusing with the Apple TV there. I was trying to connect it.
No, and I put the Apple TV there because I showed you the first example. But
Yeah.
now that we're eliminating Apple TV, you can do this with any TV. It doesn't have to be a smart TV. It can be any type of TV that you have. And you can even use a computer monitor for all that matters that accepts an HDMI connection, right? You can do it this way. And this is my preferred method in the sense that I can have the slideshow running and I can still use this as a sharing station where people can still come up here and type in their phone numbers, and that's still going to display the slideshow, right? So this will be a double purpose, and your iPhone will still be on the 360 spinning, capturing videos, sending things to your sharing station automatically, while this is connected to your TV, displaying the slideshow of all the content throughout the night. Does that make sense for everybody?
Yes. So in your normal course of doing events, your sharing station, when you first connected it, you chose online sync when you activated the event.
Correct. There's different ways of activating your sharing station. It's what you prefer. For me, the online sync method is great. For the other way is works the same. It's just a different method of connecting your sharing station, right? It just asks you for a QR code and it syncs up your videos based on scanning that QR code. We've tried to simplify our sharing station for users to have a much easier time in making the connection.
So what does the easy sync? What is that actually doing?
The online sync, you mean?
No,
No, the easy connector.
yeah, you've got options when you when you activate the event in a sharing station, online sync, and it's easy sync, easy connect, something easy.
Which one do you use the most, Julian?
I use Scampix, but the other one that you are mentioning, the Easy Connect, I wouldn't recommend that one because that method will rely on Bluetooth. Okay.
I was going to say that I'd rename that because I've had problems trying to make that work, just experimenting with it.
Yeah, because Bluetooth is, is slow. And just imagine that if you are transferring video files, and one video file will take like 20 megabytes. So transferring 20 megabytes using Bluetooth is kind of slow. And then if you have another video incoming, it will be a queue over there, and that queue can crash the app. Okay, yeah. I have some experience with that. So for me, I really like to work with Scampix. It's my preferred method to work. And also you can work Scampix with a TV. So you don't rely on internet or nothing,
Thank you.
Yeah, so the beauty with Scampix, and we'll do a Scampix webinar upcoming if we get a lot of interest in that. The beauty with Scampix is you can share without the need of any internet connection, right? You can share if you're in the middle of a desert, in the middle of an ocean with 0 bars of data on your phone or Wi-Fi. Scampix is really guarantees
reliable.
It's reliable and it guarantees, I want to say, close to 100% delivery rate, right? The only reason it won't deliver possibly is if you have an outdated Android phone. Those seem to give Scampix quite a bit of trouble. based on
Yeah.
the phone being outdated. But other than that, is reliable, is quick, and you can still run a TV session on that. But if there's a lot of
Yeah.
interest on ScamPix, we can definitely do in the webinar. It's just it would take a whole webinar to explain the ScamPix process. It's a very minimal investment because you have to buy some equipment. The only equipment that you would need is a recommended router that we have, that we recommend. We don't sell it. You can buy it at any Walmart, any Best Buy. As long as you buy a decent speed router, we can show you how to connect ScamPix, and we can guarantee your delivery whether you have Wi-Fi or not, which makes it super reliable and awesome to use.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Anything you guys want to see additionally? I know this was a quick little webinar regarding the TV functions. I don't have a vertical TV to show, but I explained how easy it is to turn it into vertical action if you're using
DJ,
the vertical template. Yeah,
something that I would like to mention is that some people, or most of the people, get concerned about how to get vertical TV. Okay, you can get any stand for TVs and just rotate the adapter in the back, and you will get the TV in the vertical way. So it's not a special TV; it's a regular TV that you have, and you just rotate the adapter in the back, and you will have it like that. So it's quite easy to make it vertical. Okay.
I got a stand off of Amazon for 40, I think $50 that flips. So you
Okay.
just put the TV on a stand and you flip it whichever way you want it to go, horizontal or vertical. Because when he explained 2 weeks ago on mirroring my TV, my phone to my TV, I kept getting the vertical view on my TV and it wasn't a full screen. So
got it.
once we flipped it, it went full screen.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
How do you like that now? I'm glad that Android segment that we did helped you. It sounds like it
It
was
did. It
sounded like it was
did.
beneficial. Awesome.
That's nice. We have another
Thank
question.
you.
Did you hear?
Okay.
Thank you. We have another question. It's Travis. It's asking another question. If I am recording from a GoPro, will the slideshow work similarly?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The only thing that you won't be able to do unless you have a sharing station with the GoPro is if you're just operating with one device, you just won't be able to do wired, right? Like a wired connection. Unless you have an iPad sharing station, then you can do the slideshow wired with your GoPro. But it's going to work exactly the same.
Yeah. Yeah, the live viewing with GoPro is not possible. So
Correct. And we want to prepare you guys for upcoming changes because I mean, you guys are taking the time to spend it with us and learn a little bit more about Touchpix. But you guys will see we can't really give out any of the secrets that we're going to launch for the photo booth expo in Las Vegas in February. We hope that you guys can make it. We invite our users to make it. Usually we have a complimentary type dinner get together for Touchpix users. We all share experiences sharing experiences about where you are in your journey and this business, and just networking with other users, I think holds a lot of value. So we're hoping you guys can make it. We will be showing, unveiling some some mirror booth functions. That's been announced already. That hasn't been a secret, but we can't show you what that looks like yet. We will do some unveiling at the show. Our interface will change quite a bit. We're trying to do everything slowly where you guys can slowly migrate into the new user interface. It's a lot cleaner. It's going to be more powerful. You're going to be able to do a lot more with Touchpix moving forward.
Well, that's awesome. So can I ask a question about license?
Sure.
So my I set it up so my subscription expires during PBX at
Okay.
the So, you know, every year that I found that's the best time to up the license. So if, you know, right now I've 4 events is the most I've done at a single time. And it's my understanding if I tried to do a 5th one, that one I would not be able to activate it. Is that right?
That's correct. But if you're ever in a pickle, feel free to reach out to any one of us on support, whether it be Julian, myself, maybe Charles or Tia, or Juan even. We would definitely like to know what you're doing, how many events you're doing, and then we'll find a way to make it work for you.
Well, I mean, I had in December, 2 Saturdays, I had 6 events.
Okay.
Both Saturdays, and I was able to stagger them so I could get around that. So I didn't try to push it beyond that. But my real question is, if I was going to try to introduce Android into that, how is that license? I don't see a way I can activate an Android in my account.
Well, the Android, I'm assuming that you bought the special, which is a dual subscription pass. So the Android subscription works similar to the Apple subscription. You can just intermingle the 2 platforms. That's the only difference between the Apple App Store subscription. If you buy the app through the Apple App Store, that means it's only going to be compatible with Apple devices.
Okay, well, that's what I did.
Yeah.
And I've always done, but I don't know. I got an itch to try to put some Android into this to see.
For sure.
So,
And that development's still
the-
continuing.
DJ, we also have one subscription that can work up to 8 devices. That is called the Dual Pass Pro. So you can have up to 8 devices working at the same time, but this is only yearly.
So when
Okay.
my subscription expires, I would not renew it through Apple. I would renew it through your website.
Correct. I would cancel the Apple subscription and get a hold of us, and we can either send you a link to the one that best suits your needs.
Yeah, well, I think I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago when I first started my Touchpix journey, I was talking to one at the PBX, and I don't know, we just activated it through Apple then, and then each year, you know, I've done it, but I really hadn't, you know, as the business is growing and I'm wanting to, you know, future proof this.
No, and we get that, Ricky. I think we are also growing as a company as well, and we are going to be here to fulfill the demands of our user base. So just like back then, it was super common for you to purchase off the Apple App Store. Now there's a different subscription that, as you can see online, we call it the Dual Pass,
Okay.
and it's cross-platform. And typically, the Dual Pass yearly, the one that you see there for $9.99, I'm sorry, for the year on PBX in February, it's going to go for $6.99. Right.
Well, that's
So,
the reason I renew every year at this
yeah,
time, because that's always been the case. So it's the same price as Apple only, except this one. So how is the license kept up with in the Dual Pass if it's not?
so it's the same. So you mentioned something that was kind of curious. So if you purchased the Apple subscription via the Apple Store, although it's only limited to Apple devices, that license will actually work in a lot more devices, as long as all your devices, whether they be iPads, iPhones, are under the same Apple ID, right?
Yeah.
So you can run more than 4 on that specific license.
Oh, okay. Well, it was just my understanding that it was a limit to 4, and I probably got it from this Dual Pass.
Yeah, the limit of 4 is from the Dual Pass only, correct?
So in the future, do you anticipate that if I iPhone only and registered it through there, that I could do 5 events?
For sure you can.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do it now. If it's iPhone only, you can do it now. If you purchase your app through the Apple App Store, you can absolutely do that now.
Well, it was just, I hadn't tested pushing that limit, but that's good. I'll test that.
Yeah, for sure. And then another thing we're gonna let our user base know. I know there's about 10 people on the call today. Is we're gonna be raffling out yearly subscriptions at our PBX show that you don't have to be there to participate. We're gonna actually release some of the contingencies as to how that works and some of the rules. But we are going to raffle some yearly licenses. We want to get our customers pumped up and continuing to use our brand, and we want to keep you guys as customers. So what better way is to make this not only a showcase, but make it fun and show some appreciation to the people investing in the app.
Yeah. I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions?
Let me check the chat. Okay, thank you, Mo. I'm not gonna read this in public.
Yeah, Julian is amazing. That's why he's my co-pilot, and I'm his co-pilot for the Spanish webinar. So yeah, he's awesome guy.
He stuck it out with me the
Yeah, he's an
entire
awesome guy.
time. And
Thank you.
Julian, the simple fix was I was not running the other piece of it. Like I had the Touchpix when you had me look at USB and Wi-Fi, that was open, but I can't call it off the top of my head. But the other part, I'll tell you, Windows Print Server, I didn't have that open. Had I had that open, the printer would have worked.
Yeah,
Because
every time that somebody knock at the door in the chat and they ask for help, I like to help them. DJs like that too. So sometimes we struggle a little bit, and some people get really desperate because we know that you are in any event or something like that. But we try to be with you and try to guide you all the time, and we enjoy that you get success in your event. So
well, I didn't
that's
figure it out at the event, but when I came home, I'm like, I have to figure this out. I called DMP because I thought it was their issue, but it wasn't. And I printed straight from my laptop a picture. So then I'm like, well, it has to be, the software. And I jumped on Touchpix help desk and I forget who helped me, but he walked me through and he said, do you have both pieces open? And I'm like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. And when he told me both pieces had to be open, as soon as I opened it, all of the pictures that we were trying to print printed.
okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, see,
Yeah.
but that's awesome because now I think moving forward, you're going to know exactly what the necessary steps are. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, and that sometimes is lost. It's something that you learn as a boother. You're not going to have the answer for everything, and sometimes you have to be out there and really figure out what is working best for you. And it may be a little different than how people normally operate certain functions of it. It's just you're going to figure out your own workflow. But yeah, that's awesome. That's what we're there for. That's what the support team is there for, is to answer any questions or try to guide you in the right direction.
Yeah.
All
Thank
right.
you.
It doesn't seem like there's any more. I mean, today was a quick webinar. Please, we'd like to know if there's anything additional that you guys want to learn about Touchpix. There's just so much within the Touchpix app that we're trying to divide this into different segments. But if there's anything that you guys want to learn specifically about Touchpix, please comment in our Facebook group, drop us a message, and we'll do our best to create a webinar specifically to isolate whatever you need help with.
I do have another question.
Sure.
So when I did my subscription, I did it for the month because I knew I had 2 events coming. So now I'm idle. I want to play around with it. Am I able to try the different effects and all of that stuff in the test mode, or I have to have a subscription?
No, you are absolutely 100% able to do the effects in test mode. The
Okay.
only thing that test mode will not allow you to do, other than the watermarks that you see, is it will not allow you to do any of the sharing functions because it costs money to load those test pictures
hmm
up in our servers. But any of the sharing functions, it will not allow you to do.
Oh, that's
Um,
fine. I just want to
yeah.
see how to use it, to perfect it, and all of that kind of stuff. So that's one thing that I was wondering because I'm like, well, next week I'll just do the $50 subscription and play around with it, and that way I write it all down so I know, and my son is able to go by what I've written down and how to set it up in case I'm not there. So that's a good thing to know.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and keep an eye out on our Photo Booth Expo promotion, which is $6.99 for the year. But also, if you're doing events that have nothing to do with videos and maybe you're dabbling into the picture world, know that we also have the Photo Booth subscription, the Photo Pass. That's only $18.99 for the week instead of the $450. It's only $18.99 if you're just going to use it for photos, right? If you're doing drop-off photo booths, it's a quick way to just get use of the app for what you're using it for.
Okay. I'm trying to get to Vegas. I am.
Yeah, I would encourage you. You're gonna see, and not just to visit us, because we'd love to meet you as well, but it'll, as a business owner, it's gonna open up your eyes into how many
Yeah.
services you're able to provide. You got anything from software providers to hardware providers, different style of booths, to people selling props, backdrops, stands, anything that's related to the photo booth industry, you're gonna see it.
And
So
the speakers that are there is worth going to.
Say that again,
exactly.
Rick.
There's speakers that, they have training seminars throughout.
Mm-hmm.
And those I find very helpful. I put on the group chat or the Facebook group the other day that last year I bought 4 tickets and 2 of my staff can't go. If you would like to go, I'll give you tickets.
There you go. Networking is where it counts. That'd be
I
awesome.
will inbox you.
Yeah, hit me up, Ricky Moore.
Yeah, Ricky, maybe just drop your, if you don't mind, drop your email. That way you guys can connect, and that's awesome to hear that connection being made, and that's very generous of you for sure. All right, without holding you guys up any later, I thank you guys for being part of this webinar. Anything else that you guys want to know, feel free to drop us a email. I'm going to put my email in the chat in the event that you guys have any questions. You guys can always reach me. I'm sure Julian can drop his email in the chat as well. Let us know what you guys want to learn. For next week, we offer a webinar in Spanish, so it'll be in 2 weeks. We'll have our next webinar, Thursday, same time, same channel. If you guys want to learn something else, please just comment in our groups and say, I'd like to know a little bit more about whatever it is regarding the Touchpix function. Scanpix is a great one. I think there's other functions out there that are great too. There's the new video effects with artificial intelligence. There's just tons of new stuff that's coming out. So if you guys want to learn a little bit more about that, shoot us a message. We're here for you guys.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Want to wish you guys a great night, and anything we can do, feel free to reach out. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
Good night.
you. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
Bye.